What's good, YouTube and Twitch? We're in hour 23 out of 24 of a 24-hour stream, so I have no idea how this notification is going to go out on YouTube, who's going to even see or hear this market watch, but more than ever, Yu-Gi-Oh! Seems to be at an all-time high for loose cards. I know grading is having expansions, contractions, all sorts of crazy things on the market, like DDS Blue Eyes was all over the place unpredictably for 10s and 9s, but here on loose things, they just keep having buyout after buyout after buyout. Grading is probably going to get back soon with PSA. People will start submitting, getting that kind of stuff back and forth to where you will see more people getting cards back and that market revitalizing as people can actually get into it. PSA being a huge name, other grading companies opening up. That's more of a solemn Yu-Gi-Oh! Discussion. Here, I want to go look through some of the most ridiculous, crazy, high-end price buyouts that have been happening because you're not sick of that already like I am. So Plant format has had a ton of buyouts. We all made fun of Catastor when it ended up in dual dev state or getting a reprint despite how few printings it's had. And people really like to point this card out on how useless it was there. We see the ultimate rare fresh buyout. I think the actual lowest is around 70 some odd dollars. Yeah, 73. And the DTP one, that is dual terminal preview. Well, the dual terminal itself has also been bought out to ridiculous proportions versus previous market price. $5,000. YouTuber Shockface, oh my gosh, falling out of my chair. Happy freaking, what day is it after a 24-hour stream? Saturday, by the way. This card is not worth $5,000. Not anywhere close. You can see it got bought out at the point of 190, but other copies either got pulled or bought out on the market as well, to where this is the only lister now on this card. You can be sane and have the cash and want loose cards that you don't even plan to grade. You want to play this version for plant format, have the money ready, and not be able to buy a card, and that's the market we're kind of talking about being in. Now, some cards will find their way back on the market. Some people will be super ready to sell, right? Night Assailant, super rare. GOAT format tech card that has infinite loops, which is why it's still on the FNL list today, which many kids don't know. Dual Terminal bought out to 85. Super rare bought out to 500 with actual market price of 341. Every version up. Remember the Speed Dual Battle City box, 50-cent copies, 25-cent copies, penny stonks. They're up there now too because every other version was around $3. Now this super rare is sitting $950 lowest. That other one is a light play. Ooh, near mint? Who wants to be paying near $1,000 for this? Everything old is just going up there, and the one person listing's like, please get desperate, take it, maybe, possibly. You're saying there's a chance. That's pretty much what's happening with our market today. Tour guide from the underworld. Plant format again. Recent modern format. Banlist hype with Burning Abyss causing multiple buyouts on this for the return of Burning Abyss peeling off list. Okay, I get it. $375 though. Freaking ridiculous is what that is, yet it's really up there, and it is an icon. Remember the secret rares being 40 on release, underestimated going up 120, 160? Similar kind of thing of underestimated long time on the market. Past formats are starting to get looks, plants getting heavily played. Yes, tour guides there. Speaking of plant format again, the Bryonic Dual Terminals had a ridiculous proportion buyout. This is actually Fallout. You see market price 60. But the actual Fallout, 280, this is it falling down as competitors line up and try to hold the line, not trying to make the actual sale under each other like, penny, 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 please buy this at this price. I hope it's worth this. The Breeze Dragon once in a while in plant format got back Snowman Eater, a tech in the format, and you can see it is still, its market price was 13. This was 18 to 30 back in the day, was underestimated forever, and we see the tournament pack version bought out to 40. Well, Turbo Pack, that's still a tournament pack, yes. Mystical Space Typhoon, Ulti, you can put some plant format, GOAT format all over the place. People thought it was ridiculous when Sky Strikers got this bought out to $75 to be able to pop their own Area Zero in worst case scenarios. Yeah, that was a bit ridiculous, wasn't it? But now it's $100 more. I saw this got bought out to 150, started to float back down. Somebody else bought this back up, those double down buyouts, and look how many listers are here ready, even on the secondary buyout with single copies, play sets, ready, hoping to make a sale to you. A lot of people hoping you'll bite. Sakuretsu Armor. Oh my gosh, the super rare. Not even available near mint. Like I said, you can have the money, be sane, go in. I suggested the other super rare because of this, the only other holo. There are Duelist Leagues. Duelist Leagues are actually starting to get to be more stable money out in the market. Not just because of how low they replace, but because people keep buying them out when they do replenish themselves on the market in a high quantity and then hike them to ridiculous prices. They're not making the greatest sales rates, except off vendor hot potato rather than actual collectors, and they're making money off each other. The unlims are now where I told you to buy the first eds. I told the first eds at 12s. These are now around 14s, and the first editions are around 21, 22. But would I be shocked to see this buyout to 50 or something like that? At this point, nothing would surprise me. It's like everything is surging up, and the question is, where does it stop? Because the market isn't going to just trend upwards always in all ways. We will have contractions back, expansions back. We're seeing Pokemon hit its high, hype, go crazy, but to the other card games, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is cheap, so we might see excessive booms continue before we do see that pullback, and the question is when? When does that vendor hot potato end? When do I stop getting caught with it? I'm not a financial advisor channel. I don't know what to tell you to do specifically with your cards. I can't see the future clairvoyantly. I don't have time traveling info brokers, despite what many people think. I don't know the answers. I don't have them all. Right now, it's hot, hot, hot. Will it stay that way always? Are there cards to be getting? Absolutely. But you see some cards that were way hotter. Foolish Spirit was bought out to way higher proportion. Now you see lister after lister appearing right under 200, willing to sell. This wasn't the case so long ago. This ends up in other formats. Why all of a sudden? What is happening? Certain cards, they're relisting so they can pour money back elsewhere into the market. They're not always keep. They start to undercut each other, actually want to make the sale, want to put money somewhere else. They're sick of something not selling. There's comparable on markets like Lost Arts for much cheaper that end up cutting into the actual sales rates of these super high cards because people will settle. Starlight Road is actually a card you might want to be getting sooner than later. Speaking of plant format, super hard to get a true near mint because there's foil edge wear on a lot of these straight out of the 10s, yet I see a ton of them at $5. So are people missing things and pieces of history on the market? Yeah, look how many pages of damaged are there, making you think maybe there's no near mints. Train die on the market, around $5 with many listers, multiple copies, tons there for people to get. Yet this is one of the coolest cards in plant format. You know why I found this one though? If we look up Starlight Road, speaking of Duelist League, those Duelist Leagues are bought out so lazily. Look at this, only one listing, 5 listings, 3 listings. People are listing them and then not bothering to buy the ones out where they have to shop these top rated sellers who would have extra cards. They don't want to bother afford the, man, I could even just buy these 2 for multi-monster deals. Lazy. They're not bothering to go all the way, or they're getting relisted to where they don't constantly watch. And this is obviously for plant format one of, I still think the secret rare rocks it, and the ultra rare even being out of the 5Ds collection, very lackluster compared to the secret rare, yet probably will get bought out at some point considering how low it is on quantities. Tournament Pack Decree. I have quite a few of these actually. I think like 4 or 5 in my collection. Bought out to the point of $600 freaking dollars. This was $80 forever. Nobody cared. Everybody slept, and tournament pack collections started growing, and people started again going towards those hard to get sets. People were coming in from other card games like Magic and Pokemon, getting pointed around. Yes, retro pack. Dark Revelations 4, the classic first base set. LOB. Tournament packs were among those, and they keep getting eaten up, and then tossed off to other vendors who enter, and that's why this market's getting ridiculous, as people who are in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are amid this scramble going, well, I want my piece, and I want to get what I want. Be careful doing that. Be very careful doing that, but a lot of it is going up right now. Speaking of modern, though, not just vintage crazy, OTS packs, Drone Lockbirds on almost all fronts are up, but especially the Ultimate Rare. We were talking about it in this format, this metagame. A lot of metagame buyouts are happening. 155 lowest before it's 185, market price 118. You could get these for $90 not too long ago. Also, we have Phantom Baby Rage actually up on the booster boxes for sale over here. The case is still pretty competitive, but up finally. And Starlight Frigette with a huge buyout. I warned you guys about this. This was at 255 on a baby bump buyout heading up. Now for that Dogmatica engine, just for that extra even out, it's up in price this ridiculously. Also, Tri Brigade has some true hype behind it though, as you are getting Bear Bloom, so there's a double dip there. we're flexing on them, dumping a Starlight in Dogmatica, or Tri-Brigade's actually a thing. So you do get that nice place doubly in the meta. Collector rares within here are actually all dipping for the most part, but notable. Pankratops has taken the lead over Skullmeister. Skullmeister could find even niche play in this metagame as we've seen on Dueling Book, but not overall dominating within this metagame play. It looks amazing, but the one of Pankratops has more speculation between banlist, playing the Eternal format, and of course, being a powerhouse card, even as a one of, versus the 3-ofs. And trade and dipping ridiculously in my opinion. It's actually just going down, down, down. I can't always see the future. I think this is a great long-term as any good draw card is, yet here it is, going down, waiting for its format like Skullmeister, I suppose, and a ton of the others, they were all trying to stick at 80. You can see 50, 50, 50s, really dipping down in price for those collector rares. And we even see Usartic Grand Chariot around 35, Abron, no double A though, 43. The Ogdoadic Overlord dipping down from that $23 towards 20, trying to stick, and every single Ultra trying to find value. As this product struggles, it stays $2 above 60 as vendors try to hold the line. It really isn't worth it for them to open it, causing one of the first true shortages of singles in a long time. You see a lot of listers. That's actually not a lot. Usually we see like 100 listers on a side set by now. They're trying to sell these things. They're trying to get them out. And you notice the biggest one is on the cash grab that is up in price, while low listings elsewhere, hoping it goes up before they list, because there's so few in the market they can afford to do that. And anyone who's opened it realized, I probably should have sat on this and tried to sell it sealed and not go for the singles, pay all that individual shipping. Still, a lot of bum products here in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, but a lot of good ones coming up. King's Court's a great gamble. Dawn of Majesty looking like a solid core set. That legendary Duelist Synchro Storm looks amazing. 2021 Megatons have some of the best sets inside. A lot of good stuff coming up. Tons of it. Even structured decks with potential, but right now we hit a rush of bum sets, and this seems to be one of the tail ends of them. And Lightning Overdrive could go either way, but feels like Chaos low impact to me. Two really huge cards, and then a bunch of other things. Dogmatica Ecclesia, almost $1,000. Do I think it's worth it? Not really. She's tied to an archetype. While she is a waifu to some people since, she is tied to an archetype. This is a bit crazy compared to the Lightning Storms and Triple Tactic Talents and Apollos and Masqueranas that are completely generic, where, yes, people might want extras of this in playsets, but, like, man, they're on top of the world now. Long-term, how will that pan out for you? I'm not necessarily sure, besides how this might be remembered and played later, perhaps. Astral Utopia, highest of its kind, still sitting at 540 after its buyout and making a lot of actual sales to stay here. So that's actually a lower rated seller, the rest at 550, those 540s having disappeared over time and people buying into this card. I think I've seen PSA 10s and 9s though around like the $900 mark, so like slabs don't necessarily just give the biggest multiplier, just a double up on this card because it's so apparently easy on 10,000 Dragon in this to get 9s and 10s, and it's a huge difference between a 9 and 10 for those cards. Spellbooks have a lot of random off buyouts. I just want to note, even the super rares are getting got. Spellbook of Eternity, Spellbook of Wisdom bought out here to pretty big prices out of Astral Pack 4 specifically. Dark Arm Dragon has a market price of $415 now from actual sales. There are motivated sellers coming in, 0% to sales. 365, please take it from me, he says. 410, just under market price, 20 sales. Then you have some top rated sellers above market price, 450. That seems motivated versus the 600s of the other top rated sellers. Do you take a chance on those low rated sellers? Personally, 0% feedback. I don't, but that guy could just be honest, trying to sell it. You look for red flags, though. It's really hard to go on high-end cards with low feedbacks. That's why they offer the deals and try to sell. But how will it come in? How will it go? You never know, seriously, with low feedback sellers. You just don't. And it could be super honest business on top of it. That's the gamble people end up taking while looking at cards like this. And crazy results do happen. Upstart Goblin recently bought out to ridiculous proportions also. I keep saying that, right? $130 versus that $40 it once sat at. The Speed Duel Battle City box is now $50 for the sealed. Been there for a little bit. And you see some settling in the secret rares. Do realize, though, you only get 5 random secret rares and then the 3 God cards. The 3 God cards giving back $10 versus the $30 original MSRP. Then you spread out the value. Really not worth opening it unless you're going to really piece out the singles as well for the sealed product. But while there is some random number generation, some RNG to the secret rares you're pulling, it's starting to be a really good spread even versus that 50, and makes you think about these secret rares even more, which is crazy to me, like just how crazy the Monarch is. Structured X are getting re-waived over in EU only, it seems. There is no SKU so far for the USA that I understand. EU seems to be getting the orders for this and that kind of stuff. So this has climbed up again, unlimited, from $30 MSRP. Vendors got this at $16.50 to where now they were selling it. It felt good. You're about to see some enter the market again, but from the EU side of things, I wonder how that will affect the US side of the market on a sealed structure deck. Cyber Rev system was not reported to be in the OCG Cyber style structure deck from what I understand on Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization. The secret rares seem somewhat available but above market price, while the Ultras have actually fallen under market price. Super, my bad. Under market price versus the Megatons price from the recent sellout and hype. But you might want to be looking at this card because it's very rare we get a actual N-Archetype edition versus the OCG and the structures, and the secret rare being highest rarity instead of mid rarity might want to be where you want to be. And finally, game promos bought out everywhere, all over the place. Dark Sage, no exception. It is ridiculous because I remember when Simo actually bought them for some people on my stream a long time ago. He bought them at like $5 a piece. And they are now, like 3 years later, nobody cared about game promos. I sleep. Now people collect that stuff. They're like, game promos, I'm going to get them all. Look at this. They are freaking $76, $73, $74, and $75, like in this range for the lowest near mints. This is absurd to me that it takes that amount of time to go, oh, I remember Dark Magician everything, Dark Magician Life, and suddenly they're worth a lot of money. But like with Karibo, you know, I really had those Karibos at around $5 I was thinking about for myself. That's just you missing the boat in some cases. It's ridiculous, I say, the prices they get to, but it is me looking at missed opportunity, spilt milk, as they are 10x in price, and I thought about doing a full binder of these. So sometimes you miss out. Sometimes it really does get that value behind it. Sometimes that memory, nostalgia becomes worth it, but it is a lot of vendor hot potato. It is a lot of meta game calls. It is a lot of different things mixing into this super hot market right now, where everything seems up, up, up. Fallouts do happen though, look at Foolish Burial, and then people rebuy it up, 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 and they start passing it off to each other. Any comments from Open Chat on any of this craziness? I know we're on a live stream and have run a little long. Nope.
Format's probably one of the best formats to involve yourself in. That, Dragon Rulers, and probably like 28 to 2010, maybe.
Yeah, I would say there's plenty of past formats to explore, but specific ones will probably gain more popularity, which will lead more towards their cards leaving the market as people actually want to max rarity and flex and do all the crazy stuff. Like, this isn't gradable, it's off-centered, let's put it in a deck, I don't care that it's 400, and just pop off with it, and then there'll end up slowly being less of those meant cards as a corner gets hit by an irresponsible person that they wanted to play with or something like that. Really sad stories. But that being said, thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. I know it was a lot more general and a bit longer today, but I want to just emphasize, just because the market's hot, 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 doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily always stay that way. And even if the graded market is going weird, wonky ways, it still seems a lot of all-time highs, but there's weird sales happening. It's crazy. A lot of different things can happen within it. Bid pumping, people purposely trying to make prices inflated. There's a lot of behind the scenes things happening to make it look that way. But this market, a lot of money is pumping in to specifically make it look this way with actual sales and a lot of passing of that torch. And be careful which torches you're holding onto, I suppose. Not necessarily always going to be that way with everything, but I think a lot of things will stay super strong over time. The question is, what are you in? Why are you doing it? What are you doing it for? Hopefully it's to play, enjoy. I remember my childhood plant format. That makes sense. Hopefully you're not getting stuck paying those extra high prices to do so. You're finding deals. It is wild out there right now compared to any other time in our Yu-Gi-Oh! History.